great to have this rain.
It is. It's a beautiful day. You know, we've needed rain because it's been a strange year. And that's what it's all about. Mother Nature rains so that it can grow and build trees and the Emerson Forest and eventually the Sustainability Project. So today we're here with Valerie Piedmont, and we're in my backyard in Gilsum, New Hampshire, and we're going to talk a little bit about how it all got started, where it's gone, where it's going, and what you can do to get involved with this whole project out here. So, Valerie, I'm really glad you're here today, and tell me a little bit about how this all got started.
The Sustainability Project came out of a love for this forest. Mm-hmm. In 1998, when a logging operation came along, intending to reap whatever it could, we knew that there was, we knew the logging company had a bad reputation for doing bad things, and there were a bunch of people up in the White Mountains that were like helping us understand what the situation was, and we started raising funds. And I raised $5,000 in one weekend, which was by just getting on the phone and calling people that that I knew. It's the first $5,000 is always the easiest $5,000.
Well, and how much did you have to come up with in order to save this forest?
We raised, I think, close to, well, we didn't save the forest, first of all. It was just a meager human attempt to do something good. Yeah. We tried to save the deer stand or yard up on the pinnacle of this mountain. It's not really a mountain, but it's the pinnacle of this hill. And that was our intent. But the people were French speaking, and they crossed over the boundary lines and logged the whole deer yard, which was heartbreaking. Yeah. And there are always heartbreaking things that happen when you're doing a project like this over a long time. And we now have a new center. We moved down here, and that was after a road dispute kind of a thing. That was kind of heartbreaking, but I've come to realize that this forest has its own personality, its own karma, and I've learned to sort of relax a whole lot more, which is really great. Recently someone told me worrying is like praying for what you don't want. So I don't worry anymore, let it go, let it evolve. And I've actually taken that whole stance on the way the world is. I have this great sense that we're living at exactly the right time, and that despite how things look, we are moving in the right direction. So, and that's what the Sustainability Project is really about. It's about, our mission is to promote a love of nature, environmental stewardship, caring communities, and to help people increase their understanding of how we are part of an interconnected web. We're very big on diversity and inclusion and compassion, because our vision of a sustainable future is that it's very caring and that everybody has a place. There's nobody excluded. And my background is in human services, so I sort of think of the Sustainability Project as being a more humanistic approach to a sustainable future, whereas, you know, there's lots of great technologies like these sky tubes here that let this beautiful light in. That's more a technological approach, but the Sustainability Project is has, with that broad mission, has an endless capacity for supporting all kinds of endeavors.
Right. So I've seen that you have worked to try to keep your project handicapped accessible.
Well, actually, we don't call it handicap. We call it wheelchair accessible, because we're trying to make it so that everybody can take advantage of it. And if it's good enough for someone using a wheelchair, then it's good enough for somebody that might use a cane, or parents with young children. And we had 2,000 feet of completely finished accessible trails up on top. But we're in our new center. We got a little bit older, less physically capable of, you know, doing the grunt work. So we just keep on moving forward with what resources come.
And you have a board of directors.
We do.
They all help you make decisions on what direction you're going to go. And now, one person that comes to my mind, because I knew her through the project as well as some other places that I met her in Keene, is Shirley Ingalls. And now I know that she was wheelchair bound.
Yep.
She's since passed away, and just thinking of her, she was somebody that I really looked up to because she could do anything. She was in a wheelchair, but that did not hold her back. And so she was on your board as well?
Yeah, she is actually one of the incorporators of this project. And that was 14 or 15 years ago. And we have pictures of her and her daughter and grandson wheeling down on our old trails. She actually never really got back up here to the new center. But yeah, Shirley was a really driving force in all of this. She was one person. I'm not saying that I got help from a gazillion people, but she was the one person that when I was stuck, I would go over and cry on her lap, and she had the right. She was my mentor.
Right. She inspired you
Yeah.
to do better.
Yeah, and actually, she took away a lot of my. She helped me get through my blocks because she was one of these people that would not have blocks.
Right.
She just lived
Wouldn't
her
hear of
whole
it.
life doing what she wanted to do, despite popular opinion or whatever.
Well, she was part of the community kitchen as well, and
Yeah.
some other organizations that were in Keene. So a lot
Yeah.
of people have had connections with
Yeah.
Shirley. So
Yep.
yeah,
And she was such a lifelong learner.
Yeah.
She just I was honored to be able to be at her death in November, and I just like it was the perfect wrapping up of I still
package.
I still consider her very influential in this
Yeah,
project.
she's still here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So getting back to the sustainability project, what are some of the things that you guys do here? I know you have events. I know the seed celebration happens. It's been in Gilsum, and you moved it to Keene this year.
Yep.
And I don't know where it's going to head from there, but it's getting bigger and bigger.
Well, I think when we first started out, we had what we called vision to action meetings, and we did that for about 3 or 4 years. And each year we would sit down, and like 20, 30 people would sit around and envision, well, what would it take for us to have a live in a sustainable society? And we'd break down into groups, food, education, caring for the environment. There was always a good sense about that we needed to include people who were incarcerated, people with, challenges that would, under some circumstances, exclude them from the bigger
so people
picture.
from all walks of life.
Exactly. The idea is that if we're going to make it through, if we're going to sustain ourselves as a society, it's going to be based on our being able to carry everyone, and everyone having an important part in the picture. And, we really, across the world, there is not one person who's any less of value than any other person. And sometimes we forget that because we're disconnected. And in our country in particular, we've been sort of like the American way of life has sort of been at the expense of so many other people's
You can step on
lives.
people in America.
Well, we don't even know it. We don't mean to do it. They don't tell us that in the advertising.
Yeah.
We're coming away from that because it's very obvious that we've used up the easiest of our resources on the planet, and that we're living beyond the capacity of our planet to sustain us. And so we really have to, and I think it's going to happen. It's a really hard thing because the way the system is set up is everybody is so locked in. We have so many obligations because it's a very obligatory kind of a system. We have to pay rent. We have to work to buy things. And really, what do human beings need but fresh air, pure water, good soils, good community, and we got to make a.
And you just said a couple of words that you hear them often, but community and sustainability. It's all about me, not really, but that's what we all think. It's all about me, but it's not. It's about the community, and we locally are working to sustain things. And that's what your sustainability project, I think, encourages people to do, is to think about things in a big picture instead of just that focus of getting up, going to work, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, there's more to it, and we all need to think of a way that we can survive.
Yeah, and one of the things that's very unsustainable about how things are set up is that everybody has to have their basic needs met. Because if their basic needs are not met, then how are they going to start thinking about the environment?
Right.
You know, it's like
One more thing on the list.
we have to make sure that everybody has
Right.
a good life and the opportunity to sustain themselves before they can think about sustaining the planet. And we have to set things up that way. We have to, you know, life is very all circumstantial as far as I can tell. That we are all born into different slots, different parents, different cultures, different economic, different bodies, and we don't. I don't think we choose that, or maybe we do, but it's everyone's coming into this world in a very unique way. That the system that we have in place only advantages people who have been born into the right socioeconomic or the right physical body, or I'm saying the right, but I'm meaning that in terms of quotes.
Right.
But I think that we're getting there. I think we're moving in the right direction. I really believe that the universe is very perfect and that we're learning lessons. And I'm an optimist. I don't know if you can tell that.
I feel the same way.
I think that and part of the job of the Sustainability Project is to hold out hope and opportunity. One of the things about our organization is it's designed to be replicated. If you look on our website, you know, you can see the resources. For instance, our program that we have that's called Mediated Home Share Services is based on a belief that we have plenty of housing resources. We just don't have a system in place to make viable matches, which would be based on a shared preference and goals for a living situation and complementary needs. It's kind of like matchmaking. It hasn't actually taken off because we really need some help. If anybody's out there that has the entrepreneurial skills to do something with that's along the lines of Craigslist, please step forward. We don't take ownership of things. Like all the documents are there. There's a document that can help you assess what your preferences are for a living space, and just, you know, all it takes to get a mediated home share service to going anywhere is a group of people that can help work through the challenging times, because there are always challenging times. And the idea is conflict is an opportunity for growth. If you don't think of it as being something that's bad that you want to avoid at all costs, it's really a way to grow our communities. So, but anyway, those documents are on our website. You can look at them there.
Yeah. And you have a lot of other information on your website too.
Yeah.
'Cause the things that the Sustainability Project does are vast. I mean, they go from helping people learn about nature to how to live a better life and a more calm life, less controlled life, things like that.
And another thing is our organization is set up so that people who have a vision in mind for a project that falls within our broad mission can come to us, and we will help. We've been able to sponsor a Friends of group for our before and after school program. We used to do programs once a week. Now there's before and after school program for all of our children.
And where's that offered?
It's at the Gilsum School. Great group of people down there. They love these kids, and you know, it's a very essential part of a sustainable society that our children be taken care of. Because if they're not taken care of when they're younger, you're going to be taking care of them in many other ways farther on. Drug abuse, jail. It's like these kids never have to deal with life on their own. They have somebody that's guiding them, that's making sure they're safe. I think too many of these people, me included, these people, who spend time figuring out life on their own, got into lots of trouble. And I just think that our children deserve not to be placed in a position where they have to get into lots of trouble and where they're going to learn some sort of identification about them being bad, which carries on. Another program that we sponsored is the National Model Forest Policy Program grant that Tom Sintros wrote the grant for, that we got, that's continuing on. It's based, you know, the idea of the project is to, how do we make policies that care for our forests, given what we know about the science of climate change. So we've got to be doing things differently, and that's it's an ongoing effort to get people to see forests differently. There are, our water, we have a river, the Ashwaubenon River down the road, and that river is dependent upon us thinking well about our forests and, not polluting. And up the chain, in a remote place, are these companies that are producing chemicals that are poisonous to our planet. And we're just living our lives not seeing the bigger picture, but we've got to stem that. We've got to start looking at everything as this is our home, and you're bringing that substance into our home. And it goes on and on.
Sometimes we're so busy that we just don't stop to think about what it is that we're actually doing to ourselves, to our community, the foods that we're eating.
Yeah.
It all relates to each other.
Yeah. The GMO business it's people can't really tell it on the surface because they're just eating food and it tastes good and all of that. But we have, corporations that seem like they're just running on automatic pilot to our planet's demise.
Right.
And it's we've got to draw more attention to that. That's one of the things that the Sustainability Project wants to do, is get more information out to more people, have the information be more fluid, which is why we want people to take advantage of our organization as an opportunity for them to just put out the word, do the studies. We've sort of simplified things to help people write grants. We have a sheet that gives people information about how to identify your community that's going to help you make your project be a success. We also help people build into their grants an evaluation and an assessment part, because that's really important. You can't take money and not have all your
eggs in a row.
Exactly.
Right.
I was thinking ducks in a row, but yeah,
Ducks, yes.
something in a row.
Yes, turkeys.
So that just we've streamlined that. It's a lot of work getting a nonprofit going, and we think people shouldn't have to do that in order to get their visions moving. Last year we sponsored a Project Venture, which is a program designed for young adults, adolescents, and it was started on a reservation. It was a reservation program, and it's great success getting young people to assume a more responsible position in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, so it sounds like you do have a lot of events going on. Even your gardens. You have a vast number of gardens here.
I'm so glad you said something about that, because the basis of our, the forest has so many lessons to give people. It teaches us how to live sustainably, really, because nature just does it right. It considers...
We don't have to control everything.
Exactly. And the vision that we have with our gardens is the Garden of Eden, when there weren't gardeners. And, plants grew together because they supported each other. It's assuming that there's just this whole perfect network of communication that goes on. And they know this is true, like trees will help a tree that's sick by sending healing chemicals through the mycorrhizal, the whole system of the network of fungus that travels through. So we're really big into trying to make make our world here supportive of all the things that can heal. And our gardens are up top. I'm sure today it's pouring, so we aren't going to get to go and...
But we'll fill some pictures. We'll show you a few things.
Just plant communities, you put things together that support. Some roots go deep, some roots go this way.
So is this part of the biodynamic gardening?
No, actually this is more permaculture.
Okay.
Which permaculture is big. It's like a lifetime study. I've been sort of studying it for years, and we've had help from experts. Dave Jacke, who is the author of Edible Forest Gardens, helped us start our garden that you'll get to see pictures of when we take them when it's a little sunnier.
Yeah.
But it's the idea of studying nature to create gardens that will be here for the long term.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah, well, I just have a feeling, we've done so much, not intentionally, I believe, because I'm one of those people that just thinks that people, they may make bad decisions, but I don't believe in bad people. But I think that it'll be nice in future when we've established all these gardens for future generations to say, oh, they were thinking about
Right,
us,
right.
And I think this is the turning of things. I think that once we start figuring out how to take care of our very simple needs, fresh air, clean water, good food, children taken care
Caring.
of, everybody taken care of, that we will live in a society that just has we'll be breathing deeper and be breathing more appreciation.
Less stress.
Exactly.
People just don't realize how much this all brings you back to who you're supposed to be.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about being out in the forest. Everybody is invited out to the forest, to the Emerson Brook Forest. It's a great place to come.
Yeah.
And I think human beings are more human in the forest because it's the difference between being in the built environment. It's like when you're out in the forest, we're all in it together.
Right. Connection.
Connection
Right.
and all of the stuff that separates us in the outer world.
Yeah. Now you have a song that
Yeah.
goes with this whole
Yeah.
theory. So
Yeah.
I think we'll get that going and take a listen.
Great.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
This is our vision. You're going to hear our vision.
Cool.
Okay,
Cool.
great. So this is a song titled Everywhere Will Be a Garden that Jeannie and I wrote last summer. And more recently we added on a piece of a very familiar tune that you'll hear. It speaks the mission and of the sustainability project and the vision that we see for how things will be when we're done doing what we want to do here on the planet. So everywhere will be a garden. Everywhere will be a garden. Everything will be more green. Everyone will know what it takes to grow food for our communities. Every child will love their gardens, pulling weeds and planting seeds, playing in the sun, having lots of fun, new responsibilities. When we wake up in the morning, eager to begin each day, every able hand tending all the land, lovingly in nature's way. Finally we'll see the beauty of living life in harmony. Changes everywhere, cleaner, fresher air, crystal waters we all share. Skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. And I think trees of green and red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself,
your responsibility.
what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you.
When we
Hear
wake up
babies
in
crying,
the morning,
I watch them grow. They'll
Eager
know
to
much
begin
more than
each
I'll
day.
ever know.
every
And I
little
think
hand
to
bending all the
myself,
lovingly in nature's way.
what a wonderful world. Finally we'll see the beauty of living life in harmony. Changes everywhere, cleaner, fresher air, crystal waters we all share. What a wonderful world. Oh yeah,
Wonderful.
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, that was beautiful. Oh, you guys did such a great, and you wrote that song yourselves?
We
Well, some
We
of it.
We wrote the first part,
Yeah.
and then
Yes.
we got some help from our,
Above.
yeah, the
Thank
stream
you
of
so
creativity.
much. Yeah, it just said it all. So that's wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, you guys and myself and everyone out there are in my backyard. If anyone would like to be a guest like we've had today, or write to us about information that you'd like to see us have on the show, just let us know. And our email address is inmybackyardch8@gmail.com. So we'd really look forward to hearing from you and getting your input.
And we are the Solar Sisters
And the Solar Sisters are
Jeannie Sable.
and Valerie Piedmont.
excellent. And we've been in my backyard. See you soon.